Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Spending Time with Gregory. I hope everybody's doing pretty good this morning. I'm doing pretty good myself. I want to jump right into self-reflection today. I want to jump right into self-reflection. And I want to talk about something that really impacted me when I started this journey on this recovery process, making changes in my life. I want to talk about that and self-reflect. And I was thinking about this the other day. Somebody had told me about a meeting in Miami. I had never been to a meeting, a support group meeting in Miami. I had never been to one in my life. But somebody was telling me about this meeting. And the name of the meeting was Soothing Sundays. And the meeting was on Sunday, and it started at, I think, 11:30, and it was a support group meeting. And at the time, I was heavy into going to meetings to try to change my life. So they told me about this meeting. And like I said, I'd never been to a meeting in Miami, but I was on this path where I wanted to change my life and I wanted to do different things. So I was kind of hesitant about going down there because they gave me some directions, and they said the meeting was off of 79th Street. So the guy gave me the address to the meeting room, and I woke up Sunday morning thinking about going down to this meeting, and I didn't have anybody to go with me, so I was by myself going down to Miami, 79th Street, to this support group meeting. So I put it in my GPS, and I live in Fort Lauderdale, so I left from Fort Lauderdale, headed down to Miami to be a part of this meeting, and that's the journey I was on. And when I get in the area, GPS takes me in the area, and when I get in the area, it's right near 79. Now I remember 79 back in the day, when I was in high school or growing up, where we used to go off of 79th and cop drugs. That's the only thing I knew really about 79th Street. So I take off down there, I get in the area, and as I'm getting close to the destination where I was going, 2 minutes to the destination, 1.0 miles, and as I get close, I'm like real close to the meeting, and I turn this corner, and I see people hanging out. I see this lady hanging behind this pole. She was doing crack behind this pole, and I'm saying to myself, where am I at? And then I see these people hanging behind this building, and they're like, hanging behind this building like, suspicious. So I went on. So I get to the meeting place. The GPS says, you're here. So I get to the place, and it's a little gate. You pull in the gate, and when you pull in the gate, there's a little parking area. It's a little parking area, and you see people hanging to the right, just hanging out. I guess they're waiting for the meeting to start. So I'm looking at these people, and I'm saying to myself, this is the journey that I'm on. Now the people looked at kind of, kind of like old school players, old school pimps. I seen some women there, but it looked like a different crowd of people, that I, hung around with or been with. Well, I can't say that, because in the streets you hang around different people, with, different types of people. So I parked my truck, and I got out, and I walked up toward the group of people that were hanging out outside of the support group meeting, and they were kind of looking at me strange, and I was kind of looking at them strange, and it was like, Greg, where are you at? But I think about it. When I was, doing my drugs, I didn't care, where I went or who I associated with or what I did. You know what I'm saying? So this was kind of new to me, because everybody seemed like everybody there, or everybody who's supposed to be there, is doing something positive. I'm not going into like an atmosphere where I'm being sold drugs. I'm going in an atmosphere where these people are trying to help me. So I walk up and I'm standing there. People are greeting me. They're saying hi. And I'm, how you doing? And then I asked what time did the meeting started, and they said it starts at 11:30. And so I really didn't know anybody outside. I saw somebody. I didn't know anybody. So I walked into the meeting. So when I walked in there, I saw a stage in the corner. There were some people, there were some chairs out. There were some other people in there. And in the back of the room, they had like this little storehouse where they sold coffee, potato chips, candy bars, and different things like that. So the meeting hadn't started yet. So, I was kind of finding my place to sit inside the meeting. So I looked over at one side of the meeting. I saw a group of people sitting over there, and they were, standing there, just nicely dressed, And then there was a corner where there were people who looked like they were just off the street. They just walked off the street. They were sitting over there. And then there was some people hanging out on the stage preparing for the meeting to start. So, some backstory. Now, the person that told me about this meeting said that in this meeting, they get butt naked. If you know what I mean by get butt naked, they're real raw and uncut in their stories, in their journey that they were on, through the addiction process, and the recovery process. And wow. So, being in a meeting a support group meeting where, people you can kind of relate to, and they're getting ready to get butt naked in that meeting was, like right down my alley right there, because I was on a journey now where I wanted to change everything about, me, everything about what's going on with me, everything about, my life. So being in a meeting like that. Now, this meeting started, and how this meeting works is they have one person, speak for 4 weeks in this meeting, and they start from their childhood, all the way up. And it's like if you miss one session, it's like you're behind. But this person starts, and it was interesting because this particular day, a lady was talking, during this meeting. And as I'm sitting in the meeting, I'm looking around the room, and I'm seeing a lot of people. And I'm thinking to myself, Greg, this is the journey that you're on. This is the path that your life took. You know what I'm saying? And these are the people that really understand you. They understand you. My family and a lot of people that I work with, they really don't understand this process. But these people inside this room, they understood what I was going through, and listening to the story of this lady. The name of this meeting was called Soothing Sundays, and it was a support group meeting. And yes, I returned the following week, and then I returned the following week, and then I returned the following week. And this meeting really changed my life, because it was good being in a meeting where the people actually got butt naked. Really got but hardcore, support group, no knuckle biting, just, hardcore literature, talking about what's going on with them. And so thank you guys for spending time with Gregory. Hope to see you guys in my next video.